go. So here we've got a needle holder and a pair of forceps and Vicryl, and just a box with a glove on so that we can use it as a model for stitching. So the first thing that we're going to do is we're going to learn how to handle a needle holder, right? So a needle holder is presented to you closed. So sometimes people have a bit of struggle opening these, and the mechanism for opening it is actually quite simple. And all it is that if you think about it, if you push this away from this here, it would open. Watch, look, boom. So it's not a question of pulling them apart, but it's pushing it away and opening it. So it's a force applied in that direction, which then means that when I'm holding it like so, I use my thumb to push it in that direction to open. It's quite easy. And that way you don't force it, you don't get tired, you don't get sore joints, okay? So that's the way I would hold it. And notice how I'm holding it. First of all, I'm not putting my thumb right through. So that's the first thing. The second thing is that I'm using my ring finger here, this finger, and these two other fingers to support this. And this index finger is also kind of sits here, and that kind of stabilizes it. There are other ways to hold this needle holder. Another technique is called palming, whereby I actually hold it like this, and I use my palm to open and close. Well, that's for another day. Okay, so simple way to hold a needle holder is like so. So that's the first thing. The next thing is how to hold a pair of forceps, and these are a pair of debate keys. Essentially, I've seen two ways people hold it. It's that way, which is not the correct way to my mind, but this way, like a pen, as you're writing with your left hand. Or if you're on the right hand there, similar. So you're resting it over here, your index finger and thumb are opening and closing it. It's got a spring mechanism that opens it, so you only close it. And then these three fingers are closed to support it. So not like that, but like this. Okay? The next thing you want to see is needle, okay? So the needle usually is presented to you open, but I'm just going to here open it for you and just see. I'm not going to go through the types of needle. So there's a needle there. This particular one is Vicryl, which is absorbable. And you often see a little bit of needle sticking out. And there is a reason for that. It's because you can actually grab the needle there, pull it out, and it's ready to go. And then you pull it out. And notice that I'm not pulling the needle out like this to damage somebody's eye, but I'm actually pulling this away from me, which is safer. Okay? Now, the next thing that you want to know is the anatomy of a needle. So in this particular needle, you've got the sharp tip and the tail of it, okay? And then you've got the thread. Now the best place to hold the needle is if you divide the needle into thirds, the distal third, the middle third, and the proximal third, which is attached to the thread. The best place to grab it is the junction between the middle third and the proximal third over here. So you can roughly about, I would say like that. So the kind of things that you will see is that you don't grab it at the very end like that, because that just doesn't give you the control that you need, and you don't grab it too far to the tip either. Okay? You could, I suppose, grab it in the middle, but the best place is roughly about, if you remember, the thirds. So there it is. And notice that I'm kind of trying to click it once. A good instrument should only be clicked once rather than several times, because that would damage the instrument. Just one click should hold it. Why is it that the needle is held there? Well, another important factor is that the shape of the needle is also important. The very tip is round. If you take a cross section of it, it's round or cutting, depending on the type. So that's why you don't want to damage this. You know, if it's a cutting needle, which is it's all like blades on the edge of it, this particular one is not cutting, but the edges will get damaged, so you don't want to grab the tip. And if you grab the very end, if your cross section of this very end of it is round, and if you grab that, it swivels. The needle holder just wouldn't stay. Whereas the middle bit of it is flat. So when you grab it, it just holds very nicely. Okay? So once it's attached there, you're ready to go. All right?